And from Leila Mohammed's story, joining me in studio is George Msamali. He's a security analyst. Thanks for making time for us. From a security point of view, how did the police handle this particular situation? From the scene of crime, do you reckon it was contaminated? What is your take on it?
I believe that we've seen this happening before. This is not the first time we've seen police bungling investigations, because we've had several high-profile murders in this country, and none has ever been conclusively investigated, and people arrested and arraigned in court.
Yeah.
What happened is this vehicle started circulating very early in the morning, and in the picture we saw a policeman that was actually there with a politician. And Chris Msando had been reported missing since Friday, and this was Saturday when the vehicle was being discovered by the police, or whoever discovered it, where it was. This should have been treated as a scene of crime. The vehicle should not have been towed. It should have been processed and preserved at the same point and treated as a scene of crime, so that forensic expert will come and examine the vehicle. By towing the vehicle and taking it to the police station, the scene has already been contaminated, and we don't expect much evidence that will come from there. In fact, I will say that very crucial evidence might have been lost during that time of towing the vehicle from the scene where it was found to the police station. And if you look at even where the bodies were found, Chris was not any other person. This was a high-profile person, and his pictures had been circulated. This is a person that had appeared on media, electronic media, so he is a known person. And when the bodies were discovered, I still believe standard procedure should be the bodies should have been left where they were, and the scene also sealed off until forensic experts came and took and processed it, per se. Yeah. Looking for evidence. So whatever happened from the discovery of the vehicle to the body and the body being discovered in the mortuary, automatically we've lost very crucial evidence that would have assisted in identifying the perpetrators of this murder.
Yeah. So do you reckon they're going to do anything about it? Are they going to get to the bottom of this? Because the DCI,
judging from history,
director just said that he has his best team and they're going to work on it.
The best team also worked on the Jacob Juma scene, and so far nothing has come out of it. We are tired of hearing these stories, because standard procedure, I think, are we handling these matters professionally? Do we have professionals working for the DCI, or we just have people there? Because it's not rocket science to know how a scene of crime is supposed to be handled. I think this is basic training from Kiganjo, not only for the DCI, but even the first responders. Yeah. There is always standard procedures for the first responders to a scene where homicide is suspected. This was homicide, and I think it was carelessly handled.
Okay. And the NASA team and the US and UK have offered to help. From a security point of view, do you think we need foreign help? Is it necessary?
By the way we are handling our matters in this country, I believe we need foreign help, because so far we've had an experience with our own people who have really been doing these investigations, and so far nothing has come out of it. Yeah. And this is why now I believe the UK and the US have come in very quickly, saying that this is something that is crucial and they need to give us assistance. I think as much as we would say that it should not be happening 50 years after independence, I believe right now we need this help, because the murder of Chris has really raised political temperatures in the country. Yeah. And unless we get to the bottom of it, I think things might get out of hand.
I was speaking to Co-to Secretary General Francis Atwoli just a few moments ago, and was saying even if we bring foreign help and the scene of crime has already been contaminated, even they can't do much, because they will still need help from the same police officers who we are now calling reinforcement on.
Probably they are better trained to deal with these matters than our own policemen. And they'll bring some expertise that we don't have here locally. As I also know that the reason why they decided to come in very quickly is because they also knew that the scene had been contaminated. Yeah. And crucial evidence might have been lost. And this is why now I think they have come in and they want to bring more expertise to see if they can piece together exactly what happened. Yeah. I think this help is most welcome.
Okay. And DPP and Inspector General has said that IBC officials are going to be given more security going forward. Do you reckon this is a knee-jerk reaction, or is it necessary? Is it the number of boots on the ground so far? Will that help in the security situation?
This is a knee-jerk reaction, because we are heading into a very crucial election. Mm-hmm. And from 2 months ago, we've been promised that everything has been done to make sure that we have a very peaceful and credible election. And part of that credibility lies in the safety and security of the IEBC officials. Why they were not given adequate security up to yesterday, this is when now we are coming in and saying that we're going to provide more security, leaves a lot of questions. Yeah. Because you'll find that somebody like Chris was crucial to the success of technology that is being used during the voting. And yet he was moving around without any form of protection. Until he disappeared, this is when now, and upon request from the chairman, this is when the police are coming in. I think the police should have done a risk assessment on all IEBC officials. Look at the level of threat and then provide security as per the threat that had been identified. Yeah. And this should not only have included the commissioners, but all senior IEBC officials that were directly linked to the elections. I think this is coming a little bit too late. Already we've lost a life, and this is something that could have been avoided from the onset. Okay.
Do you reckon there's no coordination in the security sector? Because Chris reported that his life was in danger, and one day later he was actually killed.
I think, Trevor, that calls for the... We need to look at how police handle matters. Yeah. The professionalism in the National Police Service. Because we've been taking it as normal, as routine, every other day. It's not the first time we're hearing somebody going to the police and reporting that his life is in danger. Jacob Juma did the same. Nothing happened. Chris also went, made a report. Nothing happened. I mean, we are taking it like this is normal. We have people coming here complaining that their lives are in danger, and then we do nothing about it. I think somebody needs to explain to Kenyans why, after Chris went and made this report, bearing in mind that this is a high-profile Kenyan, nothing happened. And we should not only be talking about high-profile Kenyans. Even the common mwananchi, these are the taxpayers. If I go to the police and make a complaint that my life is in danger, this should be investigated and appropriate action taken. Why this was not done in this one case and several other cases that we've heard about ponders a lot to us.
So what do you think is the solution then? Should there be an overhaul of the security sector as we come to an end?
I think we need to deworm the police. This is something that we started earlier. We say that we are going to professionalize the police. We put it in the new constitution. It was Agenda 4 of the Kriegel report, and we said, yes, we need to change the police from a police force to a police service. Part of it was even vetting the policemen. Enhanced training. But what we've done is that we've started mass production of police. We don't look at the quality. So basically what I mean by saying we deworm the police is that we need an overhaul. Let us look at the quality of people that we recruit and employ. Let us look at the quality of managers that we have in the police. I think the main problem here is the quality of managers that are running the police service right now. Yeah. This is where we should start. Because down here, it's easy to change the bootmen. But if you have people up here who are not qualified, people up here who are not up to task, then definitely we are going to see these kind of blunders. Okay. And the story will remain the same.
From your security training, having seen the pictures that were going around after the brutal murder of Chris, what did you read into it? Because there's so many perceptions going on, in as much as police say that there shouldn't be any speculation. But there's some basic training that a security officer like you may have seen. What do you think? What stood out?
I mean, it's unfortunate that somebody somewhere decided to leak out these pictures. I think that was very heartless, bearing in mind that we have a family that is mourning one of their own. And posting pictures of a person who is murdered and then in that state, I think is not human. Yeah. It's non-human.
And there was a second person with him as well, who is still
nobody's even
identified. And
nobody's even talking about. But when you are doing homicide investigations, there's a start point. And we look at the motives. What can be the motive of this murder? And in most cases, 80% worldwide of the cases that have always come up of homicide, it has always been family affairs, family matters, 80%. And then there's this other 20% that will come in with other things like, for example, accidental. Yeah. You hit a person out of anger, then this person dies. So the theory here is that we have so many theories, as Muhoro Ndegu has said, the director. We have so many theories. People have the right to speculate. But it's up to the DCI now to close in, look at all these motives, look at all case scenarios. Why could this have been done? And then narrow it down to the specifics. But right now, you cannot stop people from speculating, because we are talking about a person who was in charge of IT at the Electoral...
the IEBC.
The IEBC. Yeah. And we've heard allegations that people want to rig the elections. And one of the systems that people purported to have been used in 2013 was hacking into the IEBC systems.
Yeah.
And it said that he had come up with measures to make sure this does not happen. You cannot stop Kenyans from speculating, as especially we are 6 days to the elections, and a very crucial official of the IEBC has been murdered. And then now we're looking at the aspect of this second person that was with Chris. Has she been identified? Who is she? How were they related? I mean, all these theories will now be put down, and then we narrow down to the specifics.
Yeah.
This is how we can be able to identify exactly what was the motive and the perpetrators of that crime.
Yeah. One of the other issues that the security sector has always been bringing up is information, and we had Negwa Muhoro also appealing to the public to give them that sort of information. Does the public have enough confidence to give the police information, or do they feel that they'll be victimized?
I think we're not yet confident enough with the police.
Yeah.
And this is why it's very hard for Kenyans to give information. This is why Manyumba Kumi failed. Kenyans still look at the police as a force, not as service. Yeah. And this is one factor that we need to look at very quickly, very crucially. And it's difficult for members of the public to volunteer any information. And remember, on Chris, he was last seen at 10 p.m. from what we've been told through the CCTV system. Yeah. And that is where he was lost. So the question here we are asking ourselves, are these systems really working? Because if you were seen on Mombasa Road, we have several other points that these cameras have been installed up to Roysambu, because Roysambu is on Thika Road. Along Thika Road, there are several other points that these cameras are. So, are they working? We spend a lot of money on installation of these systems, but it seems they're not working because they have not helped us unravel even one single case, yeah. One criminal case. Because remember Mushai's case, nothing came from those CCTVs. Jacob Juma, nothing came from them. And now we are looking at Chris Msando. Also, it seems nothing will come out of this. But it's important that if there's anybody with the information that will assist the police, let them volunteer. But that aspect of victimization is what will stop people from coming out and talking to the police.
Yeah, and that is where the problem usually is, because even if the police have some lead, they will need someone as a witness to show up and say, I saw this happen, this is what I saw. If nobody comes out, then
we hit a dead end.
Yeah.
And I think this is where police need to cultivate a very good working relationship with members of the public. And when we're talking about these matters of information from the public to the police or to the security agencies, we call this popular intelligence because it comes from members of the public who might have witnessed a crime being committed. But in such a case, already we're having allegations being thrown all over. Somebody will feel like if I come out and give this information, then automatically I might be eliminated. Yeah. This is where now the witness protection unit comes in. Are they effective? Can they provide protection to eyewitnesses to these incidents? I think that confidence needs to be cultivated. Yeah. Kenyans need to be sure that if I volunteer information, this information will be dealt with confidentiality, and my personal security will be assured. I think that confidence is still lacking in members of the public.
Okay. And I know you speak on security issues, not politics, but NASA says that they are saddened by the deafening silence from the Jubilee side. Do you think this helps in any way if they keep speaking to each other, or both sides keep talking about the murder of Chris Msando? Does it help in any way with the security forces?
It doesn't help in any way, and I think NASA should not have jumped the gun. Yeah. Because the police are there, the DPP has said investigations are being carried out. We should have given the security agencies ample time to carry out these investigations and give us results. But now we are trying to politicalize the whole matter. Yeah. What has Jubilee got to do with investigations? I mean, totally nothing. This is purely a police operation, and we should allow police time to carry out these investigations. Yes, they have they said what they had to say, because emotions are high now. And bearing in mind that we are headed into a crucial election, and as I said earlier, this was a key person. And I believe as much as we will cry, Fox, 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 let us give the police, let us give them the benefit of doubt. Muhoro has assured us that he's going to do everything possible to make sure that the perpetrators are identified within the shortest time possible. Yeah. Let us give him that time. Let us give him that benefit of doubt. Let's wait for the results the investigation results from the police.
Yeah.
I think that will help cool down the political temperatures that are raised by such kinds of statements that are being given by NASA now.
Yeah, from a security point of view, how does the police service then secure the entire nation during this electoral period? Because we only have about 7 days to the next general election, and when they send out troops, people view it as intimidation instead of security. So how do they secure the nation at this particular point?
We are in a catch-22 situation, especially the police, because remember, we have a history of violence. From 1992 to 2013, we've never had a peaceful election. And this is why, though it was unfortunate, the Inspector General of Police came and said that they have identified hotspots. That in itself also raised tension. And this is the reason now you're seeing so many people moving out of certain areas that had been identified as hotspots. I think from my end, I would have kept this information quiet and then deployed depending on the level of threat. But as it is right now, the cat is already out of the bag. Yeah. We've seen police being trained on how to deal with electoral violence, which is a very good thing. It's a first. We've never had this kind of training before. And it was a multi-agency kind of training, because you'll find that the police are overstretched. We need to bring in other people to assist them during the electoral period. This is where now we are bringing in the prison wardens, we're bringing in people from the KWS, we're bringing in the forest guards, and they need to work as a team. So that training alone has equipped the police with enough skills on how to work in coordination with other agencies during the electoral period. And I think what we need now to see is actually the deployment of these officers to the ground. As much as you say that it's going to act as an intimidation, I think we need to deter some of these things, because if we say we do not deploy and then violence breaks out, then we'll still go back to the police and blame them. Let the people be told that we are deploying because we've already identified hotspots, and police are not there to intimidate you. They are there to protect you so that you can carry out your civic responsibility of voting in a democratic election. Okay. So civic education to the members of the public. The police, see them, they are there to protect you so that you can vote. Yeah. I think that is the message now that needs to go out.
Okay. And if the police would have kept the hotspots, like you're saying, silent, wouldn't they then be accused of not being transparent?
We will not accuse them of not being transparent. We will say that they were being tactical. Yeah. Because you know, why are people moving? Because they have already been warned, not by any other person, not from the grapevine. They are being warned by the security agencies themselves that we expect violence in these areas. Mm-hmm. Professionally, this is something that could have been worked under the table. Yes, we've identified these hotspots. Let us just reassure the people that, yes, we are going into an election. Everything has been done to make sure that security is assured. Yeah. Not saying that these are hotspots. But when you are doing your deployment, yeah, you know where exactly to take who and the numbers. Okay. What boots do you need where? For your own reasons, because you know the reasons why you're doing that kind of deployment. But the civic education should have been, yes, we are going into an elections. We need to have a very secure elections, and we are going to deploy police officers. Don't feel intimidated. Don't fear. Get out and vote. Okay. But whereas operationally, you know we have chances that violence might break out in certain areas. Yeah. I think that could have been very professional. It could have not have raised tension. It could not have caused fear. But right now, Kenyans are fearful. Walk out in the streets, everybody's asking you, how will this end?
And that comes up to my question, actually, what I was just about to ask you as we come to an end. Should the country be alarmed? Because we saw the attack in Sugoi. That's the deputy president's residence, not an ordinary person. Yeah. And then now there is this situation. Should we be alarmed in terms of security?
I think we should look at the deputy president's attack in its own perspective. Because this was not just an ordinary person. It can't be me and you who will walk to a highly guarded premises and carry out that kind of an attack. This was a deliberate attack, meaning it was planned. And in fact, I've seen in today's papers, the police are saying that the assailant was known to the security officers.
So then, which means the question of the enemy within?
This is the enemy within, meaning this is a person who has been going there, and the purpose of visiting that site was doing what we call surveillance, pre-operational surveillance. Get information, go out there, plan this attack, come in. He knew where to hide himself in that building, and it became very difficult now to get him out because he was in a defensive position, he was armed and dangerous, and we didn't know the number of people inside that building. And this is why it took very long for the police to neutralize him, because we did not want more collateral damage, and also bringing down the building as we witnessed at Westgate. I think we were avoiding all those bottlenecks, and this is why it took very long. But we should not be alarmed as a country, because we have assurance from the security agencies themselves that enough has been done to secure the country during these elections. And remember, Trevor, security will never be 100%. There are always gaps that will be identified by criminals who will use them to commit such kind of attacks.
Okay. All right. Thanks for making time for us.